Hello, welcome back. In the previous lesson, we had considered malware and its types. But in this lesson, I will explain viruses, worms, and Trojans in a connected way so you can clearly see how they spread, why they work, and how modern attacks still rely on these same ideas. Now, what's the essence of these malwares? These malware types form the foundation of how many attacks work today. They are core malware categories every beginner must understand. Also, many modern attacks evolved from these early techniques, and understanding them explains how malware spreads because they help you recognize common infection patterns. Now, let's pick them one after the other. What is a virus? In this case, a computer virus. Viruses rely on files and user action to spread. A virus is a malicious code that attaches itself to a file. It requires a user to open or run the file, and it activates when the infected file is open. And it doesn't stop there. It commonly spreads through documents or programs. Now, let's consider some examples of a virus. Viruses often hide inside things people already trust. Email attachments that carry infected files. It could be a document with malicious macros enabled. It could be software installers containing hidden malware. And it could be a file transfer through USB devices. Now, let's consider how viruses spread. Virus infection follow a predictable chain. Now, let's start from a user opening an infected file, and after that, the virus executes hidden code that is embedded inside that file. Then after that, it copies itself into another file or into other files. Then it spreads further when those files are shared. That is how viruses spread. Now that we are done with virus, what is a worm? Let's consider a worm. So the basic thing you need to know about worms is that they spread without needing human help. A worm is self-spreading malware and does not require human interaction. It exploits system or network vulnerabilities and it spreads automatically across systems. Now, what are worms examples? Worms often cause fast and wide infections. It could be infections that spread across entire networks or exploiting unpatched or updated systems, or maybe rapid spread within organizations, and it does not exclude outages affecting many systems at once. Now, why are worms very dangerous? Worms can cause damage through speed and scale. They spread extremely quickly, they can overwhelm networks and systems, they are hard to stop once active, and they cause widespread disruption. Now that we are done with worms, let's proceed to see what a Trojan is. Trojans depend on deception rather than spreading. A Trojan is malware disguised as legitimate software. It relies on tricking the user, it does not self-replicate, and it often creates backdoors for attackers. Now, here are some examples of Trojans. I've said it earlier that Trojans hide behind things that look useful. So examples are fake software updates, cracked or pirated software, fake games or mobile applications, malicious email attachments pretending to be safe. Now, why are Trojans effective? Trojans succeed because they exploit trust. People trust software that looks legitimate, users install them willingly. Trojans often bypass basic defenses and they enable further attacks after installation. Now, what are the key differences between these malware? Each malware type spreads in a different way. Viruses need user actions and infected files. Worms spread automatically across systems. Trojans rely on deception and social engineering, and all the three can cause serious damage. Now, let's do a real-world comparison. This is a simple analogy that can help you explain the differences. A virus is like an infected file you share with others, and a worm is like a disease that spreads on its own. A Trojan is like a fake delivery package. They use different methods, but the goal is the same, which is to harm. Now, let's consider how they affect the CIA triad, which are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. All the three malware types impact our core security principles. One, they can steal data, and that is affecting confidentiality. Two, they can modify systems, and that is affecting integrity. Three, they can disrupt operations, and that's affecting availability, and their impacts often overlap. Now, let's take a mental picture of what we've learned in this lesson. This lesson connects malware behavior to real risk. So we have been able to clearly understand the difference between viruses, worms, and Trojans. We have also been able to know how it spreads. And not that alone, we've seen why user behavior matters, and we've seen why it is very imperative to understand that patching and awareness are very critical. Let's now take a test together. Which option correctly explains the key differences between viruses, worms, and Trojans? Pause your video, read the options, pick your answer, drop your answer in the comments, and come back to play the video. Now, what's your answer? The correct answer is viruses attach to files and need user action, worms spread automatically by exploiting system weaknesses, and Trojans trick users into installing them while pretending to be legitimate software. That's all for this video, and please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next lesson.